Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Cut and Spray Mods. Now this Mercedes here has got a big scratch on the front bumper bar. Now I need to repair it. I'm going to use spray cans. First, I'm going to use some body filler to fill that scratch. I'm going to put some primer, colour and clear. This is how it's going down. Check it out. Okay, first I'm going to sand the scratch out with 80 grit sandpaper on a block and get it smooth and get rid of all those chunky bits, and then I'll be ready for the filler. Okay, now it's time to mix up my plastic body filler. I'm using the U-Pole Plastex. When mixing your filler, make sure you use the correct ratio of hardener to filler, otherwise it won't set properly and you could have problems. Okay, so I put in the filler and built it up on top of where the main parts of the scratch was, and then use the applicator to just take off the top of that filler using the existing shape of the panel. So I've gone down that way and then use the filler applicator to just skim off that top bit of filler, and that just makes it a bit easier when sanding. Okay, now it's time to use 120 grit. And just shape that filler using the existing shape of the panel. After sanding with 120 grit, it's important to sand over it again with 240 grit and get out those 120 grit scratch marks. That way you won't have any scratches in your primer or your colour or your clear. Okay, now the damage is here on the edge. So I've sanded that, I'm going to repair that with filler. Then I'm going to spray primer over the filler area that I've repaired. Then I'm going to spray the paint and blend that into the rest of the colour, blend that into the rest of the bar here, and then clear coat this whole quarter part of the bar. So before I put my primer on, I'm going to go over all the areas that I'm going to clear coat with the grey Scotch-Brite and the scuffing paste. Because if I get primer on this gloss surface, it's just not going to stick really well at all. So I'm going to do that first before I put my primer, and I'm going to go around here and find the smallest part on the bar to blend into the rest of the clear. That way I don't have to paint the whole bumper bar with clear. I'm just painting a small area, and it's going to blend in. It's going to be quick and easy and cheap and look good. Okay, now before I scuff this with the grey Scotch-Brite and the paste, I've just masked up the surrounding areas just to avoid scuffing up an area that I don't want to paint, because I want those parts to be original. So I've masked them up, that way the pad isn't going to accidentally hit them and scratch it up. So yeah. So I've cleaned the repair with wax and grease remover. Now I'm going to start masking up. I'm not going to mask up and give it a hard edge, just going to fold the paper over and make it so it's a bit soft, so that primer doesn't have a thick hard edge, makes it easier when sanding. Plastic primer, and it's a filler as well, so it'll fill fine scratches. Great for repairs. I'm going to spray that on now. Now I'm going to spray 4 coats of primer filler. I'm going to wait 10 minutes between coats. Then I'm going to let it dry and I'm ready for sanding. Okay, so I repaired the scratches in the filler, sanded it down with 120 grit, then 240 grit. Sprayed about 4 coats of primer on there, the primer filler. Now I'm going to unmask it, let it dry, then I'll be ready to start sanding it with some finer sandpaper. Then I'll be ready for my paint. Okay, so I've let the primer dry for a few hours. Now I'm going to sand it with some 800 grit wet and dry sandpaper, and I'm going to use water as well. It's going to get nice and smooth. Okay, so I've repaired it, sprayed the primer, sanded the primer with 800 grit wet. I've masked it all up, cleaned it all up with wax and grease remover. Got my colour. Now I'm going to spray the colour over this repair and blend it in to the rest of the paint. Then I'm going to clear coat the whole side of the bar and blend it in at the smallest point. So let's do it. Okay, I've gone to VG Auto Paints and I've got my colour mixed up. Found the paint code, give it to them, and they'll give me the colour in a can. That's it. Okay, so I've sprayed 4 coats of the colour, waiting 10 minutes between coats. I've sprayed over the repair and blended it into the rest of the bar. Now I'm going to spray the U-Pol High Gloss 1K Clear from a can over that quarter of the bumper bar, and I'm going to blend it and fade it into the existing clear using the U-Pol Fade Out Spray. And I'm going to do 3 to 4 coats of the clear, and on my last coat I'll blend it with the Fade Out thinner. Good. It's important to shake up your can really well and spray 4 coats of clear, waiting 10 minutes between coats. You can also heat up your can and that'll make it flow a lot better and give you a nicer finish. Okay, I've just seen a little bit of fluff in that last coat of clear. So I've stocked my clear and I'm going to try and get that fluff out before I keep clearing it. So it's going to be hard. Got it. Using a bit of tape upside down, I managed to get the fluff. Well, there you go. This Mercedes had a big scratch, a gouge taken out of the front bumper bar. There was plastic showing, so I sanded it down, put in some plastic body filler, sanded all that down, put in some primer, sanded the primer, put the colour on, blended the colour, and sprayed clear over that quarter panel of the bumper bar. And now it looks original. I mean, you wouldn't even pick it, you wouldn't know there was any damage there, and it was all done just in one afternoon using spray cans. So yeah, you can do this at home, you can do it in the car park, you can do it anywhere. It's really easy to do, just take some time and know what you're doing. So yeah, you already know what you're doing now you watch this video. It's time to get some cans, fix your car. See you next time. Actually, I gotta go this way to go. Actually, I've got to turn the camera off. See ya.